it. Over the next 30 minutes is your dose of positivity. Let's get to it. Operation Sindoor is every Indian's pride. Positive influencer Shishir Arya takes you through an interesting angle. What do Indian scriptures tell us about India's ancient war philosophy? Here it is.
हित वचन नहीं तूने माना, मैत्री का मूल्य न पहचाना, तो ले मैं भी अब जाता हूँ, अंतिम संकल्प सुनाता हूँ, याचना नहीं अब रण होगा. What does ancient Indian wisdom and Ram, Krishna and Chanakya tell us about India's unique stance on war and conflict? These 5 lines that you heard from Gamdhari Dinkar ji's famous poem Rashmirathi beautifully articulates Krishna's logic behind when Bharat goes to war. Of all the nations in the world, there is perhaps no other nation that has as unique a perspective on war and conflict than India does. While most countries go to war for either proving dominance or claiming land or even safeguarding survival, none of these ends are what matter to India. Dominance, land and survival aren't ends, but means to a much larger end. An end that benefits not just India, but the entire world. What is this end? What is so unique about India's perspective on war? When it comes to war and conflict, what does India stand for and why does India go to war? Let's learn through the rich lens of our Indian wisdom and ancient scriptures that inform us of where India comes from. The first reason we go to war is demonstrated by a wonderful story when Ram seeks passage to Lanka from the sea god. Sitting by the banks, he prays for 3 days non-stop. But when there is no response, Ram is forced to showcase his might and intimidate the sea god. As Tulsidas ji writes, Bhay binu hoy na priti. Because sometimes friendship only emanates from fear. India displays power never to prove egoistic superiority, but to take away the enemy's notion that our tolerance is a constraint emanating from weakness, where in fact it is self-restraint arising from genuine respect for humanity. The second reason we go to war is where Chanakya Niti informs us that Durbalyasa Balam Raja. Our tolerance should be perceived by our people as an ideal that unites us, not as a liability to carry, and to therefore fuel the faith of the collective in our stance to unite the country. Dand Niti mentioned in the Mahabharata Shanti Par by Bhishma is necessary. Punishment for foul deeds not just sets straight the wrongdoer, but also fuels conviction within the subjects about the strength of the values they stand for. The third reason, however, is one where India's cultural richness truly shines through. We believe in the ideal of Maha Upanishad's Vasudeva Kutumbakam. This is our soul. This is the principle we are safeguarding. The world is a family. We believe in Ekatmata, Karuna, oneness is the only pathway to everybody's peace and prosperity. But what do you do when a family member starts to prioritize themselves over the family? Here's what you do. As Chanakya says, you try to help them change through Sam, Dam, Dand, Bhed. Like a kid who has fallen into bad habits, you first speak to them softly, then try to persuade them. But when neither work, our culture tells us that you take to Dand. Or as Krishna says, once someone crosses the line, punishment is compassion. To salvage them from the bad habit, and everybody around them who they may negatively influence from their bad habit. Not just for their benefit, but for the benefit of everyone else, you punish them sometimes. To force them to fall in line with the spirit of Vasudev Kutumbakam, the Dharma of the world being one family. Yes, India is the land of the Buddha, but sometimes to ensure that Buddha's ideals are protected, India is left with no choice but to become the land of Yuddha. We forgive our enemy, always, but forgiveness doesn't mean not fighting for the right cause. Forgiveness simply means we don't fight for safeguarding ego, spite or hatred. We fight for what's right. Or as the first 2 words of the Gita say, Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetra. War is only fought for protecting Dharma, the Dharma of humanity and oneness. Jai Hind.
Some say it takes grace to earn wisdom. Some say the Bhagavad Gita is just too complex, too deep for a little child. But wait, watch this 5-year-old, this positive influencer, this sensation on the internet, Bhakt Bhagwat. He's breaking down for you the complexities of the Bhagavad Gita, its secrets in the next video. Watch this.
हरे कृष्णा, मेरा नाम है भागवत दास ब्रह्मचारी। मेरी उम्र 5 साल की है और मेरा शरीर 5 साल का है और मैं श्री गोवर्धन धाम में रहता हूँ और मैं गिव गीता गुरुकुल में पढ़ता हूँ। आज मैं आपको भगवद गीता के बारे में बहुत स्पेशली बात बताता हूँ। हर ज्ञान की उम्र बचपन ही है। जो ज्ञान हम बचपन में लेते हैं वो ज्ञान हमारे साथ पूरा जीवन रहता है। जैसे बच्चे भौतिक ज्ञान लेने के लिए बचपन से स्कूल जाते हैं, वैसे ही हमें भगवद गीता का ज्ञान भी बचपन से लेना चाहिए। मैं आपको एक एग्जाम्पल से समझाता हूँ। जैसे एक पौधा होता है, तो जब वो छोटा होता है तो हम उसे कहीं भी मोड़ सकते हैं और जब वो पौधा बड़ा हो जाता है तो उसे कहीं भी मोड़ नहीं सकते। तो भगवद गीता भी इसी तरह है। जब हम बचपन से भगवद गीता पढ़ेंगे तो बचपन से भगवद गीता हमारे जीवन को सही दिशा देगी। मैं आपको एक और बात बताता हूँ भगवद गीता के बारे में। कई लोग कहते हैं कि भगवद गीता बच्चों के लिए नहीं है, भगवद गीता तो बड़ों के लिए है। भगवद गीता बच्चों के लिए नहीं है, भगवद गीता तो बूढ़ों के लिए है। तो बच्चे भी अपने जीवन में खुश होना चाहते हैं और बड़े भी अपने जीवन में खुश होना चाहते हैं। तो कुछ कैसे होंगे? जब हम भगवद गीता पढ़ेंगे, क्योंकि भगवद गीता ही हमें खुश करा सकती है। तो हम इस टाइम छोटे से बड़े होने का वेट क्यों करें? अभी से भगवद गीता पढ़ लें और अभी से खुश हो जाएं। अब मैं आपको भगवद गीता के 7 क्वेश्चंस बताता हूँ। भगवद गीता कब बोली गई? भगवद गीता कहाँ बोली गई? भगवद गीता किसने बोली, किसको बोली और किसने लिखी? अब मैं आपको इसके आंसर्स बताता हूँ। देखिए, भगवद गीता 5000 साल पहले लगभग द्वापर युग में बोली गई। और कहाँ बोली गई? धर्म क्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे संवेतायुयुत्सवा मामका पांडवा सैवा किम अकुर्वत संजय। इसका अर्थ होता है कि भगवद गीता कुरुक्षेत्र में बोली गई। कुरुक्षेत्र में बोली गई। हाँ, और भगवद गीता किसने बोली? परम भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने बोली। और किसको बोली? परम धनुर्धर महाराज अर्जुन महाराज, इनको, जो भगवान श्री कृष्ण के बहुत बड़े भक्त थे। और भगवद गीता किसने लिखी और महाभारत किसने लिखी? वेद व्यास जी ने गणेश जी को बोली और गणेश जी ने उसको लिखी। और भगवद गीता किसने लिखी? भगवद गीता भी गणेश जी ने लिखी और महाभारत भी गणेश जी ने लिखी। तो ऐसा क्यों? ऐसा इसलिए क्योंकि भगवद गीता महाभारत ग्रंथ का हिस्सा है।
Our next positive influencer has served in the mighty Indian Armed Forces. Lieutenant Colonel Barsha Rai. She served in Kashmir. Over the next video, which is post-Operation Sindoor, when the Indian Armed Forces delivered a bloody nose to the Pakistanis, Lieutenant Colonel Barsha Rai lists down the epic failures of the failed Marshal Asim Munir. Watch this.
A field marshal or a failed marshal? Let us be absolutely blunt that only in Pakistan can a general with no victories, no glory and no accountability be promoted to a field marshal. And why not? After all, it is said that Pakistan is not a country with an army. It is an army that happens to have a country. General Asim Munir, now the second field marshal in Pakistan's history, follows in the footsteps of General Ayub Khan, a man who also awarded himself medals and then a presidency. At least General Ayub Khan waited until after a coup. Whereas, what is with General Munir? He is skipping all the drama and going straight to the uniform upgrade, minus all the merit. Let me make it clear to you all. This rank is supposed to be reserved for exceptional military achievement. And we all can see what exactly is General Munir's achievements. The Indian airstrike that took out 9 terror camps, killing over 100 terrorists. India's response so precise that General Munir disappeared from the public eye for 4 days and was reportedly hiding in a bunker. In the counter-strike, India targeted and destroyed 11 Pakistani military installations, including one in the Rawalpindi headquarters. Even Pakistan's air defense was rendered useless. And that is something even their own Prime Minister had to admit. And now that very general, the one who was in hiding during a national crisis, is being declared a field marshal. If that is not ironic enough, let me add, the DGMO equivalent of Pakistan reached out to India asking for peace. The army that talked tough called for a timeout. But we need to understand that the Sharif government's approval of General Munir's elevation shows exactly that who runs Pakistan. Not the people, not the government, but the army. Pakistan itself faced 784 terror attacks last year. Mind you, not from foreign enemies, but from homegrown inbred terrorists who are now flying under the flag of Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. Provinces like Balochistan, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa are on the brink of separation. Their economy has absolutely cratered and their foreign diplomacy, well, it's absolutely dead on arrival. And yet, amidst all this chaos, what is the solution from the army? Promote the man in charge of the collapse, give him a new badge, and then put him on a new tank. Let us call what it is. He is not a field marshal, but a field marshal. Alien to facts, floating in his own fantasy world. A man failing on the field, but definitely winning the war of deception. Because in Pakistan, there is no discipline, no accountability, no justification, just a simple declaration. And maybe that is their goal. To not fix the truth, but just to rewrite in their own words. To lie to themselves, lie to the people, and lie to the world. But mind you, medals do not erase memory. And no matter how many stripes one may stitch onto that uniform, failure cannot be photoshopped into glory. General Asim Munir may now be Pakistan's field marshal, but history will always remember him as the commander of collapse.
From a positive influencer who has served on the front to a positive influencer who's made it her life's mission to impart teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, Roma Abhyankar is up next. Now, Operation Sindoor was not an act of revenge. It was an act of justice. It is an act of justice. Now, Roma Abhyankar takes that thought, traces it back to the Bhagavad Gita and tells you why this is India's Dharma Yudh.
There are moments in life and in the life of a nation when silence is no longer strength. In the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna's words to Arjun cut through the noise. When wrong rises, it must be confronted. Namaskar, my name is Roma Abhyankar. In the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, there is a powerful learning for us. Uphold what is right, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. Let's expand on this a little further. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srajamyaham. Here, Sri Krishna tells Arjun that whenever there is a decline in righteousness and an increase in unrighteousness, at that time I manifest on earth. Through this shloka, Sri Krishna's take on going to war was simple. What was unjust, unrighteous had to be remedied. He goes one step further and reiterates how necessary it is to stand up for one's own dharma. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Sri Krishna's reasoning was straightforward: to protect the righteous, to annihilate the wicked, and to re-establish the principles of Dharma, I appear on this earth age after age. What this means for us is to take a stand. If you feel that a particular situation is unwarranted or that you have been wronged, you have to remedy the situation. And in doing so, you are not to let your feelings dictate what action you must take. The countermeasure is driven by proper reasoning, with diligence and with the objective to amend the situation. If you let your emotions, and these could be any, such as revenge, fear, displeasure, hatred, sadness, if you let these feelings define your behavior, you might end up creating more trouble for yourself. The recent turn of events have kept us on our toes. Many questions loom in our minds. The most obvious one being, is this the right thing to do? And what will happen next? Isn't this exactly what Arjun felt right before the great war, the Mahabharata? In the context of our country, India, there was infiltration and we needed to address it. To view strike or war from the angle of revenge is naive. Taking action from a place of emotion is not Sri Krishna's advice. Some steps are essential to establish righteousness. Your big takeaway, war or no war, to stand by what is right is a part of your dharma. To stand by your country, our forces, is our dharma. To protect our land, our people, that is also our dharma. It is what is expected from us. And fulfilling one's dharma is the only true way to live one's life. Dhanyavad.
Mental health is so important. And May is the Mental Health Awareness Month. Now, Astha Kothari, our positive influencer, will break down the theme this year. It is turning awareness into action. She tells you why understanding it is so important. Trust me, watching this will give you the headspace you need this weekend.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and the theme for 2025 is Community, Turning Awareness into Action. Imagine a world where our homes, schools, workplaces, colleges, and even our social environment were all safe spaces for us to open up with one another about our mental and emotional challenges. Sounds a little unrealistic, but it's absolutely possible. The entire idea behind this year's theme is to encourage us to take charge of the mental and emotional well-being of not just ourselves, but our loved ones as well. No, you don't need to be an expert or a practitioner in order to build this sense of community. You can begin with a step that is as small and simple as calling up your relative and checking up on them. Or calling up that friend of yours who's been avoiding social interactions lately and reassuring them that if they need to speak, you will listen. On the other hand, when we need help for our mental health, we often avoid confiding in our family or reaching out to people because we think it'll stress them out. This is when we need to reach out for help, even if it means going to a certified mental health practitioner. Whichever side you're on, whether you're looking to seek help for yourself or willing to extend it to someone else, what matters is that you turn your awareness into action. In the next video from this series, we will be breaking down the word mental health, and I will tell you a few tips that will help you to understand if you are in a mentally healthy state of mind or not. If you found value in this video, you can follow me on my platform Slow Down with Astha for more content on mental and emotional well-being.
Are you scratching that head about income tax returns? Is it last year repeat all over again? Well, don't, because up next is positive influencer Kanan Bell. He is a chartered accountant and he's taking you through it step by step with deadlines and detail. Watch this and don't hit that snooze button on your income tax returns this year.
It is that time of the year when you have to file your ITR. People typically believe that if their incomes are below 3 lakh rupees, they need not file an ITR. But that's not true. In some cases, you may even have to face jail time as per the provisions of Income Tax Act. But don't worry, we have got you covered. I'm your friend CA Kanan Behel, and in this video, we'll be telling you about who needs to file an ITR. If your total income before deductions exceed 3 lakh rupees, you're required to file. But that's not all. You also need to file if you have deposited over 1 crore rupees in current account, spent more than 2 lakhs on foreign travel for yourself or for someone else, or paid over 1 lakh rupees on electricity bills in a year. If you own or benefit from any foreign assets like a bank account or property abroad, you've got to file no matter what your income is. Individuals are required to file their ITRs by 31st July after the financial year end, unless they need to get an audit done. So, for the financial year ending 31st March 2025, you need to get your ITRs filed by 31st July 2025. Now here's the big question. Which ITR form should you file? Since your income may likely include salary, interest, and some property or capital gains, let's break it down. There are 4 main forms: ITR 1, 2, 3, and 4. But here's the catch. If your total income exceeds 50 lakhs, you must file either ITR 2 or 3. Why? Because these forms handle higher incomes and complex sources like capital gains or business income and require detailed disclosures. Let us understand, when is ITR 1 applicable for you. If you have just salary income or interest income or long-term capital gains from equity mutual funds and listed equity shares of up to 1.25 lakh rupees and maybe one house property without requiring to set off losses, ITR 1 might work. But if you have losses from properties or capital gains like short-term capital gains or long-term capital gains exceeding 1.25 lakh rupees a year, or even business income, you'll likely need an ITR 2 or ITR 3. For example, ITR 2 is for salaried people having capital gains or foreign assets, while ITR 3 is for those with business or professional income. If you've got a small business with a turnover of up to 3 crores in case of a business and 75 lakhs in case of a profession under presumptive taxation, then ITR 4 is your go-to, but only if you don't have complex investments or losses. That's it for today. If you find this helpful, smash that like button and share it with your friends and family. Got questions about ideas or taxes? Drop them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer. Until next time, keep following Republic and CA Kanan Behel on Twitter and LinkedIn. See you soon.
Before I sign off from this beautiful, spectacular Republic Media Network campus, if you think you have it in you to be on the Republic Positive Influencer program, then go drop that video. We're still screening applications from across the board. We just opened up the sustainability and environment category, so go to www.republicpositiveinfluencer.in or the WhatsApp number on your screen right now and drop your sample video. Our teams are screening around the clock and we'll get in touch with you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again this evening with another fresh episode packed with positivity. Thanks so much for watching.
I have seen it, what it takes to report from the front lines. Accuracy, urgency, courage, responsibilities. At Republic School of Journalism, you'll be trained for that reality. It's not theory, it's live learning inside a working newsroom from the day one. If you want to report the truth when it